Hey guys, and welcome to the final part of the Incredibles Rise of the Underminer Let's Play. Last time we struggled through, one mission in Mechanical Mayhem and had a pretty easy time throughout the rest of it. But now it is time for the final battle, the last ditch effort, where we defeat the Underminer.
Attention, friends of the crust! Witness the power of my personal Gilgenbot as I destroy your so-called supers! And I, the Underminer, will come down on all of you!
It's over, Underminer.
Pretty much.
Enough of this! Die!
Oh, I forgot about this robot.
I have a feeling we're gonna wish we could.
Alright, well, there's a bit of nostalgia right there. As a kid, I thought that cutscene was awesome. It's the way the Gilgenbot appears, the way the Underminer is shouting at you. The only thing that always confused me was what he meant by friends of the crust. I always thought because back then I always thought crust was just the bits you found around the side of a piece of bread. I now know it just means the surface of the earth. But anyway, that's it, final battle, and it's mostly this. Defeat a load of enemies, then the Underminer comes down. There'll be a few other things in the way in the second and third phase, but it's a 3-phase fight. Is he going to come down? No, he's not. You will have the Underminer shouting at you, who is voiced by, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Ratzenberger? Is it John Ratzenberger? So that's where they got the idea for Ratatouille. Who always makes at least a cameo appearance in every Pixar film. You know, he's Ham the Piggy Bank. In the Toy Story series, he was Petey Flea in A Bug's Life. He's the Underminer in The Incredibles. He was the Abominable Snowman, the Yeti, whatever you want to call him. But I would recommend having your teammate really close to you for this. But I think I stood still for too long. Yeah, I did. Actually, I want to be frozen for this, really. Right, he does that for whatever reason, and then he spins around. This causes him to get dizzy. God, he's the on the droid. Only this one is easier to avoid. But the hitbox it's a bit difficult to judge where the hitbox is. Unfortunately, once you get him down to enough health, that happens. That hit is impossible, and it's going to happen 3 times throughout this fight. But that hit is impossible to avoid. So if you're low on health, too bad. That's the main issue that comes from actually fighting the Underminer himself. Other than that, the Underminer isn't that much of a problem. Yeah, and then he'll send out like a load of cannons to attack you. And then he raises the platform for whatever reason. Alright, trench box. Right, this is a much longer one this time. It still goes trench bot, then I think it's a load of auger bots, then it's even more trench bots. And the Underminer is pretty stupid during this fight, because he's the one that ends up killing himself by the end of it, as we will see in a moment. So, yeah, what happens in the end is his fault. It's like, why would you do that? Right, Augerbots now. Augerbots without shields, that's nice. How did that not get destroyed? More Augerbots. It's so satisfying just knocking them off the edge. or onto the Gilgenbot's arms, which are just as deadly. And that's a lot of trench bots. Since I have one more of these left. And it didn't quite kill all of them. There's a few more came down. Again? Yeah, it did. Yeah, you can stun them and pick up these guys as well. Oh no, it's the police. The mic probably can't pick them up, but I can hear a siren. It's either the police or an ambulance. Right, phase 2, he likes to charge at you. Very easy to avoid. And then he spins. I don't want to be Frozone. I need to be. Yeah, you really don't get much time for this. At least I think you take damage during that, because otherwise that's a rather unfair move. Right, these ones you can't freeze. They just fire at you for a bit. They're really no threat whatsoever. And now he raises the platform again. There's no enemies this time, it's just the Underminer. I mean, this one drags as he fires these things. And he fires a lot of them. At least that doesn't damage you. Just the second circle. Yeah, he fires that. I don't know yet. Still going. And the last one, he always moves it, but then he never actually fires. Right. See, this is the one that I find to be the hardest to avoid. If anything, at least for your teammate, it's impossible to avoid. Oh no, Bob did just manage to get out of the way. Right, he does this again. Just have to wait. Again, this is one I always lost my teammates on because I didn't know that I could make them stay still because I never even bothered reading the hint boxes. Which you kind of can easily ignore when you're too busy like, doing everything else. Because they're probably mentioned somewhere. I'm pretty sure it is. Right, here we go. When we defeat the Underminer, we also get a super move like the Custodian. And now, stupidity. Why does he do this?
No! This is the only one finished! No!
Whoa! Let's go!
Kids! Honey!
Man, we crazy saved the world today. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know why the Underminer just decides to charge back into the head of the Gilgenbot. He kills himself during that. But fun fact, when I first beat this level with my cousin, his sister, my other cousin, also like came in just as we finished the fight. And it's that we never noticed Jack during the opening cutscene, and then like all together we just say, "Hey, it's Jack!" Just all together, all three of us. I didn't make Frozones. Oh well. And that's it. That's just it. The game just ends like that. Now, if you complete every level and get the green circle for every level, you would see a little video showing the cutscenes, almost like you would get like say, when in terms of what we've seen on this channel, Sonic Heroes. Like during those credits, you could see the cutscenes in like a little square, but you can't hear anything. But even the cutscenes even the credits have lag. But overall, I do consider this to be by far the better game. The combat's much faster. The enemies actually have much better reactions to your attacks. Apart from in Mechanical Mayhem's second mission, they didn't seem to want to do it there. I think it's a great use of both characters' abilities. And, you know, overall, play this game with multiplayer. It is a great time with multiplayer. It really is. As long as you don't mind the fact that you can't switch characters. So if you want to play as Mr. Incredible, don't change your mind and say you want to play as Frozone. Unless you want to swap controllers, I guess. You know, it does still suffer from... I guess it maybe is a bit too ambitious with the designs. You know, some of the levels, they're not particularly asking for a lot, like the ice levels. Yeah, they were some of the ones that suffered from slowdown and lag. But, yeah, you know, it suffers from lag. There are a few areas where the game has this, where if you, like, get enemies in the wrong place, you can't proceed. Which you only have to worry about in one level, but still, you know, that is a very big problem. And then you have to start the level again and hope it doesn't happen the second time. Yeah, the boss fights, it is pretty much you attack them, beat some enemies, you attack them again. But I still think they're pretty fun, except maybe the Custodian, because we've already fought a load of those robots in the previous level. And, you know, I just like listening to all of the stuff Mr. Incredible and Frozone say. I do think they're pretty funny without overdoing everything. You know, they're not constantly saying the exact same thing. I mean, they might do it if they punch a robot or something. But it's not like Sonic Boom. That's the most important thing. It's not Sonic Boom. But, you know, this is no longer the sequel. For many years it was, but we are now officially getting an Incredibles 2. And it looks like the Underminer is going to appear in the film, I would imagine, as the opening antagonist. You know, that's all he's going to do. He'll be at the beginning, and that's what much of the trailers have been showing off, really, I guess, so that they don't want to give too much away, which I'm all fine with. We know that there is another villain in the film that isn't the Underminer. Whether or not they're going to make reference to this game, I don't know. It would be a nice little reference, but... yeah, that requires that people have played the game, but yeah, that kind of, you can say that for anything. Anything that's a reference. But yeah, I do think that this is a pretty good game. You know, it still has, except for Mechanical Mayhem, specifically the second mission. You know, if you want to 100% it, it's a bit tedious since you have to play almost every level twice at least. You know, that's not asking for much. Other than Underwater Station, the levels aren't very long. So it's really not much of an issue. And no, we don't have Samuel L. Jackson in this game, sadly. That wasn't him voicing Frozone. But anyway, next up for the channel is a game. I can't remember what I've decided to do next on. I made a list, but I don't remember what I decided to do next. So, in the end, and if we finish this, I believe it sends us back to Underminer Threat. Yeah, it does. We're back to the beginning of the game. And, yeah, so, I'll see you guys for the next game with whatever that was. So, I will see you guys then.